What's going on, Sterile Processing Universe? It's Hank Balch here over at Beyond Clean. Thank you for watching this video of fighting dirty. And if you're new to the channel, welcome to Beyond Clean. If you're back, one of our clean freaks that loves our content, thanks for coming again and checking out this video about decontamination. So this video is going to kind of be for those newer folks. Maybe you're thinking about getting into SPD, or maybe you're into SPD, but you haven't yet been introduced to the decontamination area in your department. We're just going to go through real briefly what decon is, what's going on there, and how you can best be prepared to work excellently in the decontamination space. But before we get into that, like this video, subscribe to this channel if you want to see the name of Sterile Processing go far and wide, not only in healthcare, but outside of healthcare, that we get the recognition and the support that we deserve for the life-saving work that we do every day in sterile processing. I would greatly appreciate it. All right, to the content today. What is decontamination and what's going on in that space? So if you're looking at the sterile processing workflow like on a map or like on a piece of paper, right, and you're going to kind of chart where all the instrumentation comes from and where it goes. The first place that your contaminated instruments come, those are instruments that have been used on a patient, that coming out of the operating room, and the first place they're going to go is to what's called the decontamination area. So that is a room that's separate from every other place in the department. There's walls all around this room. There are different pieces of equipment in a decontamination space that we're going to talk about here in a second, but you should just know this is a contained room. And it's contained because we want the contamination to stay in this place. It's called decontamination because we're going to be dealing with the contamination and removing it from the surgical instruments before they go to what's called the clean side or the assembly area, also known in many places as prep and pack, because you're preparing and packaging instruments for the next stage, which is sterilization. But anyways, back to decon. So this is the first place that your dirty instruments show up. And as a sterile processing technician, we're suited up from head to toe with personal protective equipment. We've got plastic gowns and aprons on. We've got gloves on. We've got shoe covers and booties on. We've got hair covers on. We've got masks on. We've got face shields on. We got everything on that we need to protect ourselves from any splash or contamination from these dirty instruments. And we've got some awesome tools and chemicals at play to get these babies decontaminated. So the instruments come in to this space. They're removed from any transport containers or carts, and the decontamination process begins. I'm not going to go too much into that whole process because there's tons of videos and podcasts that we've already done on the actual process of decontamination, but just want to kind of introduce you to the space. And so in this space now, you're going to have sinks that we use for soaking, for flushing, for brushing, for spraying. In the sinks, you're going to have different kinds of chemicals that help to break down the bioburden and debris. So bioburden is kind of a fancy way to say the stuff that's left over from the surgical procedure. So bone, blood, any kind of tissue that may be left over, all that stuff is on the instrument. So we call that bioburden. Anyways, all that stuff is going to go into the sinks. We got different equipment called like ultrasonic cleaners. Really cool piece of equipment. We've got some podcasts and some sessions out about ultrasonic cleaners. We've got instrument washers, mechanical and automated instrument washers. And so that's where all these instruments go once we're completed with them at the sink stage. And then we have what's called cart washers, and that's where all of our transport carts go to receive their cleaning. So the decontamination space in our departments is a very important space, and it's also one of the more dangerous places to work. That's why we have all the equipment. That's why we treat everything that we encounter as potentially contaminated. and we try to stay very, very safe back there and follow all the protocols that are out there for how best to process and to handle all of these contaminated instruments. And there's all kinds of nicknames that have come into play for this space through the years. Obviously, decontamination is the name of the space, but we call it decon many times. There's people who call it the hole, the dungeon, you name it. There's probably some other that I can't say on video that folks call it, but it's a critically important space. It's a critically important step in the whole cleaning and reprocessing workflow that every instrument must go through to be made patient ready for the next patient and surgery. So that's a little intro into decon, and hopefully you're not scared away yet. I know I threw a lot out there at you, but decon, many people in the industry like working in the decontamination area because you can kind of put your head down and just focus and go the entire shift, and it really makes the time go by quickly. So it's not all challenges. There are people who actually enjoy it as well. All right. That's going to do it for this intro video for decontamination. I want to thank you for watching again. And like we like to say around here at Beyond Clean, I want to encourage you to keep fighting dirty. We'll talk to you again soon.
We're heavy on the scene. We got it going on, running 5 years strong. We're fighting so dirty, yet keeping it clean. Where do you go when you're a sterile processing pro to have conversations that no one else is having? How do you access expert subject matter? Well, look no further, got a digital gathering. We're so clean, yeah, like Beyond Clean. For all the clean freaks out there listening, we're having discussions and talking info, getting bigger with over 1 million podcast downloads. Splish splash, we're doing our thing for the clean freaks. We're heavy on the scene. We got it going on, running 5 years strong. We're fighting so dirty, yet keeping it clean. Yeah, splish splash, we're doing our thing for the clean freaks. We're heavy on the scene. We got it going on, running 5 years strong. Hey, shout out to Sterile Processing. Combating myths and misconceptions on a regular basis. We won't leave you guessing. Setting things in motion and answering questions. Come and take a listen if you want to learn a lesson. Decontaminating and sterilizing. So much work goes into it, no one realizes. But we take it serious when we're on the scene. Keeping it beyond clean before every surgery. Splish splash, we're doing our thing for the clean freaks. We're heavy on the scene. We got it going on, running 5 years strong. We're fighting so dirty, yet keeping it clean. Yeah, splish splash, we're doing our thing for the clean freaks. We're heavy on the scene. We got it going on, running 5 years strong. Hey, shout out to Sterile Processing.